If creating memories, giving siblings, cousins, and in-laws an opportunity to bond, spending time outdoors with those you love the most, all seem like worthy goals to you, this week's show is for you. I am looking at 3 things you're going to want to get right in order to make multi-generational camping a great success. You're going to need the right RV, the right campground, and the right attitude. Stay tuned for episode 120 of Girl Camper, the podcast. Welcome, I'm Janine Pettit, Girl Camping Ambassador, Editor-in-Chief of Girl Camper Magazine, adventurist and podcaster, and this is episode 120 of Girl Camper Podcast. I'm so happy to be back. As you can see, I'm not in the Girl Camper studio. I'm down here in sunny, beautiful Florida. My sweet little aunt fell down, didn't break her crown, but she did really whack out her knee. So I'm going to be here for a couple weeks doing double duty as nurse and BFF, taking care of her, getting her back on her feet. So I got to dodge the cold, wet spring we have been having that never seemed to end in New Jersey. 5 days of rain, a half a day of sun, 5 days of rain. So it's gorgeous down here. And this part I am loving. Today, I thought it would be really great to talk about multi-generational camping. I shared last week why I decided to become a seasonal camper, but not everyone who multi-generation camps wants to do it seasonally. There's all kinds of ways to do it. Like we say, no wrong way to camp like a girl, no wrong way to multi-generational camp. But I know that there are 3 things that will make everything go just a little bit smoother. And if you're aware of those at the starting point, this might be a little more successful for you. I kind of think of it the way we think when everybody comes home for the holidays. You know, there's that one person who has to sit at the end of the table, who has to have a certain bedroom, who doesn't like this or doesn't like that. So there's accommodations that can be made, but you might have to make some accommodations yourself. So I'm going to talk about the right RV, the right campground, and the right attitude today. So let's kick it off by talking about the right RV. So when I take a look at everything, there was a travel trailer, fifth wheel, toy hauler, and a park model. Now, obviously the park models, if you're going to do seasonal, I didn't even look at motorhomes because for me, what would be the point of buying anything with a motor when you're just going to park it? You're spending all that extra money for a motor and you're not going anywhere if you're seasonal camping. I just felt like let's leave the motorhomes out of it. So let's talk about travel trailers, pros and cons. First of all, in the pro column, they're much more affordable. Fifth wheel, toy hauler, you can get into some big bucks. You can get a pretty large travel trailer that will really hold a crowd at a much more affordable price. So they're affordable. I do like the big open floor plan in those. They're much easier to tow. You don't need a big dually or a hookup for a fifth wheel. So if you're already towing, you can find something that the tow vehicle you have already tows. That's in our pro list. The con list for me with travel trailers is when you see them, the bunkhouses are right there in the living room. They're not closed off. You know, we're not talking about a big space there. That might be good for a solo woman traveler or a couple traveling. That's a great place to stash dogs or extra stuff. But if you're going multi-generational camping, let's face it, 6-year-olds go to bed at 7:30, especially if they've been outside playing all day. And then you're right there. If the weather isn't good, there's no separation. So I don't love the fact that the bunkhouses are right there. Same could be said for the primary bedroom. A lot of times it could be a Murphy bed that folds out into the living room, or we've all seen that model at RV shows where it's a front bedroom with sliders. If you're lucky, it has a slider. Sometimes it's just the wall that is the TV on one side in the living space. The other side of that is a queen size bed that you gotta shimmy into. If you want to sleep late, if you want to go to bed early, watch a movie on your iPad, it's not the same kind of bedroom that you would be getting in a toy hauler or in a fifth wheel. So the primary bedroom, the whole sleeping thing for multi-generations in a travel trailer is not quite as good. The other thing about the travel trailer is usually it's just one bathroom. And I don't know many really big travel trailers that have a bath and a half in them. So you got multi-generations in there and you only have one bathroom, that could be an issue. So that's my thought on the travel trailer. Let's move on to the fifth wheel. So the fifth wheel for me was not my first choice. I initially thought, because of the site I have, that I wanted a toy hauler. The site I got for seasonal camping just backs up to the woods. And if you look at it on Google Earth, it just goes and goes. And I thought, oh my gosh, how great to pop that thing down and just have that view. But I'm not talking about seasonal camping here. I'm talking about all kinds of multi-generational camping. So that's my reason in the fifth wheel world for going fifth wheel over travel trailer. But let's talk about the pros of the fifth wheel. For me, I absolutely love the size of it. It seems a lot bigger. It is a lot bigger than a travel trailer. I love the primary bedroom is a flight of steps, the bathroom, and then you're in the primary bedroom. That door closes and you are in there and it's private, and it's a little half flight of steps down. The living room is there and the bunk is in the back. So I really loved that separation in the fifth wheel. It was a big pro for me. The other thing is most fifth wheels have at least a bath and a half, and some of them have two baths. So the bunkhouse in the back may have its own bathroom in it and even its own door in it. So that was a big thing in the plus column for me. The ones I have looked at have at least a bath and a half. So if someone's showering and a little kid needs a pee-pee, you can use that bathroom. So the added bathroom is a lot. The bunkhouse having its own door and becoming like a separate room, you're going to have to put kids to sleep. You're going to have to lay somebody down. Someone might have to take a Zoom call at work, So having that space in which you could just go back there and that bunkhouse could be used for several different ways was a big deal for me. I also love in the fifth wheel all the outdoor storage. Because of the way it's built and that top comes up underneath the living room and bathroom over there, there is so much storage under there. I mean, literally the little bicycles and all the toys and stuff all fit in there. You can even fold up all your chairs and lawn furniture when you're not using it. If you were going away for the day, it's going to rain, stuff everything in there, and it's not a big ordeal to get it in and out. Because sometimes when we carry equipment with us, then we're going in our car for the day. By the time we pack up the kids and all the stuff, and we have buggies and sand picnic baskets and things, we can't be carrying chairs with us to keep them dry. So I love that there's all that extra storage. In general, there's just a whole lot more space in a fifth wheel. Some of the cons of the fifth wheel, though, are they cost more. I mean, you get more, but they cost more. It's a significant jump. But there are middle range fifth wheels. Not all of them are $110,000. You can find middle range, but you can also buy used one. So you can look for something that you like in the model that you love brand new, and then back it up on the search engines 2 or 3 years and get the model you want without paying all those upfront costs for it. The other thing about them is a fifth wheel requires a much bigger truck. You've got to get the gadget in the back to hook it up to. And so if you wanted to go fifth wheel and this is new for you, and you want to be towing around, not being stationary like I'm going to do, you're going to have to upgrade your tow vehicle. And that's an added expense, and it's not a little one. I just truck shopped and decided to keep my truck with 160,000 miles that's paid for and get myself a little Subaru to zip around town in. So upgrading that tow vehicle is going to cost a lot of money. All right, let's move on to the toy hauler. I love toy haulers. I keep talking about them. Someday I'm going to have one. They're just so cool. So the pros for me is I love the back garage. That garage can do triple duty. It can do so many things back there. I love that it closes off. It's completely separate. It usually has a bathroom. It's a great place for muddy stuff. So you could actually use it for toys, like all the bikes and dirt bikes, paddle boards, all the stuff. You can use it for all that. I love that the bed lowers down from the ceiling, so at night you can drop that thing down, and then you have the extra couches that fold down. So it basically becomes 2 king-size beds in there. If you had a lot of kids and cousins, you could sleep 2 parents and 2 little kids on a king and 2 more up top. You could really pack a lot of people into that garage. Some of them now have a space over the bathroom, which is another twin bed. So if you got a teenager and then you got little 7 or 8-year-olds too, or you're accommodating cousins that are in a wide range of age, I love the toy hauler garage for all of these things. It also generally has a separate door, and some of them, most of them, a lot of them now, have a full bathroom back there. Washer, dryer, hookups. That garage is so cool. The other thing about the toy hauler is up front, you usually get a really nice master bedroom that is also separate. So I love that. Basically, it's a really supersized 5th wheel, separate doors. But something that made me want it is my grands are very little right now, 2 years old, 4 months old, and 3 months old. Well, for the next 2 years, 3 years, and who knows how many will come along in that time period, everything goes in the mouth. And it's muddy and it's dirty. And I thought to myself, how muddy and dirty is a campground, right? And I thought, when these kids are outside and they're in the mud, and my little Miss Bliss, she can't resist a puddle right in it, not just in it, splashing. She likes to put it on her face. The kid loves mud. She attracts mud, and her mother is as clean as can be. I love the idea of the toy hauler because when it's muddy or yucky out, the back can be down, or some of them with the patios on the side, they're fenced in. You're keeping them off the ground, off the dirt. Great place to put dogs, because I don't know what families anymore. Everybody has dogs, and that's a whole nother thing with multi-generational camping. Is everybody bringing their pets? What are the rules regarding pets? So I love the idea that these contained spaces there can contain kids, pets, keep the mud down and the dirt down. So those are some great assets in the pro column for the toy hauler. The negative, again, is the cost. Gosh, they can get really high. They're just expensive. They are, but they're not nearly as expensive as buying a summer home, and you can resell it, So use it for a couple of years and get your money back. And so they are expensive, but then again, you also have to have the much bigger tow vehicle to get them where you're going if you're going to be toting it around and meeting at different spots. So the last thing on the list is park models. So obviously this is only if you're going to do seasonal camping. The pros to the park model are that it's very home-like. It really feels like a home. It's stationary, so you're not dealing with packing and unpacking and doing all of those things. The negative in the park model is that it's in one spot. You have to keep it there. And then when you sell it, you got to wait for a buyer to come along. But the buyer doesn't have to just like that park model. They have to like the unit where you have it, because getting them in and out of parks anymore, it's not really done. You sell it at the park that it's in. So you got to love where you're going. You got to want to stay there and not move on to someplace else. And then you have to understand that if you go to sell that park model, you need to sell it to someone who also wants to be in that area and likes that floor plan. You're limiting your pool of buyers when you do a park model. But if you're going to enjoy it for a long time, they're really fun. They've got a living room up front and a kitchen combined, usually a big master bath, laundry room in the hallway, big master bedroom in the back, and they have a big loft. I don't think they sleep as many as a toy hauler or a 5th wheel would, but you don't have to mess around with them, and they are pretty cool. They're pretty. All right, let's talk about the right campground for a minute here. We talked about going seasonal last week. I'm not going to talk too much about that. The whole idea for me with seasonal is that I still work full time, and the energy it takes me to get it all packed up and get where I'm going. The thing I do like about multi-generational camping with the seasonal is I can choose something that's nearby my children. I know my kids aren't going to drive 3.5 hours with newborns screaming in the car. They're not going to do it. When they come to my house and they go, we're 5 minutes away, I can hear the kids in the back going nuts. Just, blah, blah. Nobody wants to listen to that for 3 hours. Parents don't want to do that. The thing about the seasonal is you get something close enough, you can entertain them in the car for an hour or plan it around the nap. You can get there and it doesn't become a chore and a trial. That was one of the big reasons for me. Also, my children really love the beach. They grew up at the Jersey Shore. It's just a trip down memory lane, and we're 15 minutes from their favorite beach, but we're still in farmland, so we're kind of getting we're getting the best of both worlds. It's a tongue twister. Anyway, so that is one of my reasons for going seasonal with multi-generational. Other people might have different ones. Let's talk about multi-generational, where several people in the family might get their own camper, right? Maybe you're not all camping in one camper. Maybe grandma and grandpa aren't bringing a giant one and people are gonna pile on. That might be it. Sometimes when I see that happening, within months, the kids are like, I think I'm going to get an old pop-up and join you. They want their space. So choosing the right RV is important. But once you get them going out there, it is a question of getting the right campground. So if you're going to change it up every week, that is a lot of fun. Hey, let's go to a Jellystone. Hey, let's go down to Frontier Town. Hey, let's check out that campground. So you can all travel together and you're making different memories. You're going to different places. The con in that is that it does require an incredible lot of coordination, especially when you're doing it with a lot of different groups. Say you have 2 or 3 children, or you have a sister, aunts and uncles that are going. You're talking about 4 or 5 different families all trying to get sites together, get the same weekend. Everybody has to be synchronized when it comes to making those reservations. That would not work in my family unless I got on the phone and made every reservation and got reimbursed from everybody. So yeah, that's something. You've got to be one of the families that is really able to do that. The pro is that, gosh, you could just see so much. I mean, that's how I grew up camping with my cousins in Massachusetts. We picked different campgrounds every year, different parts of the country, and we all met for 2 weeks. It was so much fun. I love that idea, but I know it's not going to work in my family at this stage. Maybe when the grandkids are 7, 8, 10 years old, then it'll be time to, get an inexpensive pop-up, or for my kids to get their own trailers, and for me to get rid of the seasonal site and hit the road again. We'll see. But for now, that's not the thing. Other people, it might be. The last thing in the choosing the right campground is to think about membership clubs. I am totally hooked on Harvest Host right now. A bunch of the girl campers up north have been using Harvest Host, and they are finding a spot. And I mean, these people are good. They are researching, hey, there's this winery. Hey, they have food trucks on Friday night. Hey, they're having live music. And everybody coordinates and goes there. What I love about this is you get so much more camping for little money. In the Northeast where I live, a resort campground, and I don't even mean resort, I mean not even that fancy. Maybe they have a pool. I'm not talking about big fancy Sun RV resorts or Jellystones with pools and super slides and stores and golf carts. I'm talking about a campground with a pool. $70 a night. So when you think of that, I'm going to go Friday and Saturday. I'm going to spend $140 on a campsite. You can't even get a hotel room for that. I understand that. And you can bring a lot of people and camp for $140 for 2 nights. That's pretty cheap. But when you get a Harvest Host membership, or one of the other, because there's Harvest Host and there's Thousand Trails, there's a couple of them. When you get a membership card and you get discounted campsites, everybody can go and enjoy it. The Harvest Host to me is kind of especially fun because you pay $70 and you have the membership for the whole year. And if you're one of those families that can coordinate everything, they can jump on and everybody meet at the same Harvest Host. And for the price of your entire membership, you're staying one night there for what it would cost me to stay a single night in New Jersey. And that's your membership for the whole year. So I think it's a great way to save money. It's also a great way to just meet other people because you're out at the campground or you're out at a Harvest Host or one of the other ones, 1,000 Trails and memberships. You get out there and you meet other people who are doing the same thing. It's just a lot of fun. So choosing the right campground, figure out what works for your family. What's everybody's goal? Do you want to just lay around and just play lawn darts or beanbag or, just have food together, enjoy each other's company? Or do you want to go exploring? So you're going to have to figure out in your own family what's the most important thing for you. Okay, now this is a tougher one. Okay, I want to talk about the right attitude. Number one, let's just say you are the grandma and you have purchased the RV and you've purchased it for everybody's enjoyment, but it's yours and it's a home. If you're like me, you can't be precious about it. You just can't. Kids are messy, they're muddy, they're dirty, dogs are muddy, kids are going to climb on the couch, they're going to spill things. If you're not a person who can live with the messes, this is not going to be for you. And if you're going to be all weekend long going, don't put that there, don't leave things on the counter, don't leave dishes in the sink, make sure you wash that, make sure that door is closed, keep the dog off. Oh my gosh, that's going to get so old so fast. And they're not going to want to come back. So you kind of can't be precious about stuff. The stuff that you have in the RV and the RV itself, you just got to look at it. It's not disposable, but it's just something that is going to become worn. You're going to clean it up. You're going to do the best you can, but you're not going to ruin everybody's weekend because you can't look at the RV as a piece of investment for resale. What you're investing in is your children and your family and the memories you're making. So you got to let go of the fact that your grandkid peeled the wallpaper off the wall or colored on the bathroom wall or took a magic marker to the cabinets. It's going to happen and you got to let it go. So don't be precious about the RV. The other thing is to give everybody the freedom to do as they please. I'm going to tell you what goes on in the Pettit family. So my kids sat me down and said, Mom, we're coming home for Christmas, but here's what we're not going to do. So for years and years, I had the schedule. I want everybody home by Christmas Eve at noon because I got tickets to the Nutcracker and it's at 2:00 and I don't want everybody to be frazzled. And I mean, I had a schedule. Okay, we're going to the Nutcracker and then we're going to come home and then I've pre-made a snack and then we're going to eat that snack and then we're all going to get in the car and then we're going to be at Mass by 7 because it's 8:00 and I want to make sure we get a seat. And then we're going to go home for there, and I have these casseroles pre-made, and I'm going to be up by 8:30. I'm going to have those things cooked. I want everybody in the living room. My kids were like, Mom, no more. We're going to sleep till we wake up. We're not going to the Nutcracker anymore. I had to just stop thinking that I was a cruise director. So now I'm like, Georgia, you're in charge of breakfast on Saturday. Let me know when. I don't do it anymore. I just had to give it up because I was driving everybody a little crazy. But most of all, I was driving myself crazy. And how are they going to take over the next generation of being the people to serve the meals and coordinate the things if I don't let them? So when they're home now, I'm like, does anyone want to come with me? No, Mom. Okay, I go by myself. Usually my daughters and I go junkin', but if they don't want to go junkin', I go by myself or I don't go at all. I don't sit there and make everybody feel bad because we're not doing that thing that we used to do for so many years. So you have to kind of make new memories, new ways of doing things. And when people get to the campground for the weekend, they're tired too. So maybe your kids who have been chasing kids all weekend want you to take the kids for a while so they can just sit down and listen to the birds and put their feet up. And nobody can watch somebody's children like grandma. They're not quite as relaxed when other people are watching the kids. So it's a nice break for them. So one of the things I have found with my own camping experiences and even just weekend experiences, let everybody do what they want. Don't try to be the cruise director. Okay, the last one on the list of the right attitude is being food flexible. So for all of these years that I have been managing the kitchen and the CEO of the Pettit House, I always made all the meals. I shopped for the meals, I made all the meals, I cooked the meals, I cleaned up the meals. I mean, I did have help a lot of times cleaning up in the kitchen. No more. No more. Now it's like you guys are in charge of dinner on Friday night. I don't care what you're having. Just know you're cooking dinner on Friday night. And this is how we've worked it in our family for the last couple of years. And everybody, this one's gluten-free, this one's a vegan, I'm not accommodating everybody's special requests anymore. So I might put out to my kids, hey, I made a big breakfast casserole, which we're having, and it has sausage in it. So if you don't want it, tell me ahead of time, or bring yourself a bagel or make yourself your own boiled egg later in the day, whatever. I am not accommodating people's dietary requests anymore. I'm also not cooking and cleaning up and shopping for every single meal. So the new system is, which meal would you like? So if I've got 2 kids coming home for the weekend, I'll say, would you like to do lunch on Saturday? Would you like to do brunch on Sunday? Hey, I'll do brunch on Sunday. I'll make a bagel tray for everybody. Okay, that's great. It's not mom in the kitchen 24/7 anymore, because honestly, I'm exhausted when they leave. When everybody goes home, I fall on the couch and take a nap, and then, no lie, it takes me a good 3 hours to return the house to normal, to put all the toys away, all the dishes that got pulled out that I don't normally use, garbage out. It's a lot. Everybody who's a grandmother knows that your house looks like a bomb went off when they all go home. I love it. I don't care. But if you add food prep and cleaning up and all of that to all the other things you're doing when your children are home, it can be really exhausting. So not only do I have to be food flexible, they have to be food flexible. And if you're going to be the party house and be the host for everybody, it's okay to say, hey, can you take dinner Saturday night? I don't care if we're ordering pizza. I don't care what they put in front of me. I'm just so happy that I didn't have to make it. I don't care what comes in front of me. So be food flexible. Give everybody the freedom to do as they please, and don't be precious about that RV. If they write on the wall with a magic mark, just clean it up with a Mr. Magic after they leave and don't say another word about it, because it's not worth it. The important thing is that you're all together. So those are my thoughts on multi-generational camping. I think we're going to have to do this again in October, because we've got so many weekends scheduled coming up over the summer and so many fun things and everybody getting together for holiday weekends. It's going to be interesting to see if I was able to apply all these things. I've been able to apply them at home when they're at my house. Let's see how it goes at the campground. So this is Janine Pettit, founder of Girl Camper, editor-in-chief of Girl Camper Magazine. If you're not a subscriber to the magazine, I highly encourage you to. We've got a great summer issue coming out, including how to cook a whole trout on the grill. It is so delicious. I got onto that last summer, and I love it so much, and so does everybody else. That's one meal nobody turns down at our house. So subscribe to Girl Camper Magazine. Until next week, happy trails, everyone.